Today we're talking about a hot topic that I get a lot of questions about: illustration contracts. Hello everyone! Welcome to Art Business with Ness. I'm Ness and I'm a professional illustrator. Today we're talking about a hot topic that I get a lot of questions about: illustration contracts. It's going to be a doozy. But right before we jump into it, if you're interested in art business and learning about strategies to help you grow your illustration career, then what are you waiting for? Hit the subscribe button and hit that little bell so that you're notified every single time I upload a new video. This way, you're sure that you won't miss any of the advice. Alright, let's jump in. For many artists, contracts are a really complex and confusing part of the illustration career. It's not exactly something that comes naturally to us, but it is so important to learn because contracts are a huge part of the business and they ensure that we are protected. So today I'm going to give you a list of the 5 most common contract mistakes to avoid. Number 1, starting the work before the contract is finalized. I know how it is when you have a new gig, you're so excited and you just want to jump right in. Especially if the deadline is very tight, so you just want to get started to have as much time as possible. But that is just a bad idea. Before the contract is signed by both parties, anything can happen. They can still change their mind. The whole project could be scrapped tomorrow by their boss. You just don't know. So it's not safe to start putting in your time before you know that they are really locked into this. Mistake number 2, giving away your copyrights for free. There are many people out there who will lowball you for your illustration services. So when pricing for your work, it can be really tempting to only take into consideration the time that you're putting in and nothing else. But the real value of your work is in your intellectual property. So copyrights are actually a huge part of this. So what if the work only takes you a couple hours to do? If the company you're selling it to is going to be making t-shirts, selling them all over the world and making millions of dollars, then you deserve a part of that. It is your intellectual property. If you're only charging for your time, then that means you're giving away your copyrights for free. But copyrights are actually worth a lot of money. You should never be giving them away for free. If your clients really want all of your copyrights, they have to compensate you fairly for this. And a fair compensation for copyright means that they have to compensate you for all the potential loss of revenue from this artwork. Think about it. You could have sold this artwork yourself as mugs, t-shirts, stickers, anything that you like. Over your lifetime, you could have made hundreds if not thousands of dollars from this work. So if you are giving your copyrights, the client needs to compensate you for that. Copyrights are really precious. Don't go giving them all away for free. If you're doing work for hire, make sure that it is worth your while. Mistake number 3, not adding clauses that protect you. When a company sends you their contract, it can often feel like a take it or leave it sort of deal. Either sign it exactly as it is, or don't sign it and lose the gig. They're never going to tell you that this isn't actually the real choice that you have before you. The contract is flexible, it's malleable. You can request to add things or remove things from the contract, and in fact, you probably should. The contract that your client sent you was written by their lawyer with in mind the goal of protecting your client's interests, not your interests. So it's not likely to have in it everything that you wish was in it. Things like how many rounds of tweaks are they allowed to request, or what happens if your client is late in giving you their feedback and it's going to impact your deadline. Things that can protect your behind. You're absolutely allowed to ask for these things, so don't be afraid and ask for them. Mistake number 4, not having a contract at all. That actually happens very often, probably more often than you think, and obviously that's not an ideal situation. When you work with an established company, they will often have their standard contract that they can send over for you to sign. But if you're working with a smaller client, like maybe a small local business or a self-published author, very often they just don't have a contract that you can use. So the burden often falls on you to come up with a contract, but that's easier said than done. Hiring a lawyer to write a custom contract for you could literally run you thousands of dollars. So often that's just not a practical solution for most to have this professional contract in place. However, having a contract, any contract, even a very basic one, is much better than no contract at all. It is incredibly risky to go into a gig without a contract in place. I've heard of too many artists getting burned this way, so I really cannot recommend that you do that. And last but not least, mistake number 5, not negotiating your contract. This is one of the most common and the biggest mistake to make with contracts. I know that it is absolutely nerve-wracking to negotiate, and many artists, especially at the beginning of their career, won't even attempt it for fear that they might lose the whole gig if they even try. I've even heard some artists say that they don't want to offend their client or appear unprofessional by trying to negotiate. But you need to know that's not how it works at all. In professional circumstances, it's normal and natural to negotiate. And your client is a professional too. As long as you remain polite, they're not going to be offended. Especially if you're working with a company, the person that you're talking to, it's not even their money that they're offering, so they're not likely to be offended at all. They might even be happy for you if you end up getting more money. In professional settings, negotiation is expected, and the worst that could happen is that they refuse to budge. It is incredibly unlikely that a client would rescind their offer just because you try to negotiate. That's not how it works. And you can negotiate not just on the price, but on all the terms of the gig. That includes the deadline, the copyrights, how many tweaks they're allowed to request, etc. You can even request free copies or free samples. So even if the budget is set in stone, you can get creative and negotiate a whole lot of other things to make it worth your while. However, I do know that it can be very stressful at first to negotiate, especially if you're just starting out and you don't really know what you should even ask for. What is a good price for the amount of work they're requesting? How much are copyrights worth? What is art licensing? And what does this lawyer mumbo jumbo even mean? If that's you, I have something that might help you out. I have just launched my new online course, the Art Business Bootcamp Level 2. In this course, we cover everything that you need to know about finding your first clients and sealing the deal. We are covering things like how to query clients, plus my email swipe file, so you can take my exact emails and just copy paste them. My unique network methods to get 5 times more replies from art director. How to price your art. How to negotiate your contract, what we talked about today. It even includes my contract template so that you can use that if you don't have a contract from your client. And best of all, during the pre-order period, which is right now, I'm offering 50% off. But this is for 2 weeks only. The pre-order period ends on Monday, February 20th. During that time, the course is only $197 instead of the regular price of $400. So if this course sounds interesting to you, make sure you snag it before this awesome offer goes away. I'm going to leave a link for that in the description below. But that's it for me today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to help our small channel grow. Thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!